Well, I guess start the gang talk off. How did you get into a gang? How does one go about getting into a gang?
I think for certain people it's different because some of them are raised up around, parents are gang members or something like that. Some of them was raised up in, bad neighborhoods, and that gang was predominantly in that neighborhood. And sometimes, man, it's just, like I was telling you earlier, somewhere along the line, somebody failed that child.
Yeah.
Whether it was society, whether it was a parent, whether it was a loved one, a community. And as a child, man, children earn to be accepted.
Yeah.
They want to be accepted by somebody. They want to make somebody proud. They want somebody to look up to. And I mean, I had a fairly decent child life. I've been through things as a child and seen things as a child that I don't really like to talk about. But for the most part, my grandparents raised me from the time I was 5 till I was like 12 or 13. And, they was good Christian people, Pentecostal. And, my dad, he was in and out of prison my whole life, so I never really had a father figure. Me and my grandfather, we didn't have the relationship that we have now. Like I say, he, in his younger years, he was real hard up. He was just set in his ways. He was kind of ornery, and me and him really wasn't too close when I was a kid. And so I just always yearned for that father figure. And I ended up getting in trouble, running with some kids in school and hanging out with older people, drinking and smoking pot. And they just so happened to be part of an organization. And, they kind of brought me in. And
Did you know they were part of the organization?
Yeah, I knew they was a part of something, but I didn't really know exactly what it was. I didn't know what a gang was. I was blind to the fact.
How old were you?
I was 13.
13.
Okay. I got kicked out of my grandma's house. I was back living with my mom, and she has a past too. I love that woman to death. So that's my heart and soul. Yeah. That's my best friend.
We all got a past.
Yeah, and I just, it just drove me to. That's what drove me and motivated me, and it kind of blindsided me. I was seeing that everything that they was teaching me and everything that they was doing for me was good. And I wasn't realizing that some of the things that I was doing was, really bad. You know what I mean? I just thought that, people was being judgmental, and that was just society trying to throw labels on people. And, I was like, if y'all so good, why don't people like y'all have anything to do with me? Why does these type of people are the only ones that show me love, the only ones that, spend time with me and do anything with me?
So in a way, you kind of found a sense of family.
Yeah, that's what it was, family, yeah. And like we was talking earlier, like a lot of people ask me, why God, how did you change your life around? What finally did it for you? And this I mean, you've known me for a while.
Yeah.
This ain't the first time I've tried to do right and went to Christ. But I always kept going back to what I know. And that was the streets. That was gangs and selling drugs and, stuff like that. But this last time, I really did some evaluating, and I'm like, why do I keep going back to the same thing? That's insanity. Why do I keep... I knew that this God thing that everybody was talking about, I knew it was real, because when I got saved, I felt it. Each time I would backslide and go back to living the street life, every time I went back, I was a different person. I was never that same hood street person that I was before.
Yeah.
And I used to catch myself kind of like preaching and mentoring other people, like, hey man, there's a better way, there's a better way. But then the people's looking at me like, well, if there's a better way, why
ain't
the hell
you
are
doing
you
it?
here?
Yeah.
And what I found to realize is when people are in gangs, man, I've did some off the wall crazy stuff. Been in and out of prison. Most of my charges are gang related. The stuff I did for gangs and stuff like that. And it was just the dedication and the willpower that I put forth to it. It took me a while to realize that, hey, I got to put forth the same dedication towards God and towards making right choices and doing better for my kids and myself and my family as I do in this gang. And so when I got out this last time, that's what I did. I stayed in my Bible, and it takes, like I was telling you earlier, like a car and a transmission. You got you hit that gas pedal on that car, that transmission, it shifts higher and higher and higher.
Mm-hmm.
And when you let off that gas, you start downshifting. And when you're trying to make a transition from the gangs or streets or whatever, drug addiction or whatever, when you step over that threshold into that new life, you can't look back, man. You got to just floor it, and you just got to keep climbing up the ladder. And I read a Bible verse earlier on Facebook, and it was talking about, God was talking about how when you let your mind wander on, you know, things that aren't righteous,
Yeah.
you're like car tires in the mud. Your brain just spins and spins and spins. But when you fill your heart with the Lord and you fill your thoughts with the Lord,
Yeah.
and focus on what He wants you to, He puts tread on them tires.
What you put in is gonna come
Yeah.
out.
A big part of me being successful and changing my life was you.
Yeah, really.
You took time out with me. You build with me. You was with me on my highs. You was there for me on my lows.
Yeah.
When my son died,
Yeah.
and I was just like, the heck with God. I mean, you was just, you never batted an eye, man. You was right there the whole
I didn't
entire
leave your
time.
side that whole
Yeah,
time.
and I mean, that's what it takes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know now that I'm changed. You know, all the times before when I would, you know, start doing the right thing, and even when I was drug free, I still thought about getting high.
Yeah.
I had to fight them demons every single day. But this time is different. This time I don't have, my demons are fighting now is like staying away from sweets or you know, spending too much money on fishing gear or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's because I put forth the effort. And man, it changed me. It changed the way I talk. It changed the way I dress. It changed the way I look at things, the way I view people, the way I view others, the way I view myself, the way I view life. It gave me morals and values in life, you know, and that's something that it never gave me before. There he is.
Yeah. You hung up?
I think that's a tree pounder.
Okay.
A tree pounder.
Tree pounder.
I thought I had something shaking it, but I reckon it wasn't. I have old friends hit me up on Facebook all the time. How you doing, man? What's up, bro? Da, da, da. Just living a godly life, man. You know, all praise be to God. I'm sober. I'm da da da. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, I'm proud of you, man." Other times they don't even want to hear it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't care. I'm doing something good, and they're still living that life, and they don't want nothing to do with me. And you know, I enjoy it when they do carry on conversation with me because I get a chance to minister to them and try to, you know, pull people away from certain situations. And sometimes that's all it takes, man. A lot of them's like, man, dude, you're an inspiration to me. And by me making that one small step and just speaking to them and planting that seed, a lot of them's converted over now, man. They're
Wow.
Christian people. And a lot of it's to do with this right here, what we're doing now, man.
Yeah.
Fishing. Out here enjoying the festivities that God gave us to enjoy. And just, you know, out here with nature, peaceful. You know, I come out here a lot of times, and this is my tranquility.
Yeah.
I come out here a lot of times and by myself and fish and just talk to God on the boat. You know, he you know, like with Moses had it made. He lived in a rich home, was at the best of schools, best education, and a situation arose, and he basically drove out into the wilderness where he got to build one-on-one with God, and he become a great leader. You know, sometimes God sits us down and puts us in places, you know, like jails and stuff like that. So you can just separate from life for a little bit and get a relationship with him, man, and just, you know, just build with him.
And when you were inside, did you take part in any of the programming? I know you got your GED.
Yeah, I got my GED. Where I was at, they really didn't have no programs. You know, I used to go. I'd attend the church. You know, and stuff like that.
Right.
What got me was, I was like, well, maybe I can be a part of my organization and be a Christian man at the same time. And I said, because now, you know, the organization that I was a part of, they trying a new movement, you know, bettering themselves,
Right.
you know, growing and bettering themselves. And, you know, so I was like, well, if it's more of a positive movement now, maybe I can just still do this and, you know, da-da-da. But then I read in the Bible, it says, one cannot serve two masters. So I was like, well,
That just messed up your whole plan,
yeah,
didn't it?
You know what? As God talking to me, I'm retired. I'm out. You know. And you know, I went to the proper people, talked with the proper people, told them what was going on, blah 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 blah, and I was blessed. You know, I got blessed to just kind of go on about my life and serve Christ. Right now, I feel like I'm at a standstill in my life with Christ because I feel like God wants so much more out of me. You know, I want to start my own ministry, but I don't know how to get that started.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get sponsors. I don't know how to, you know, so that's what I'm, you know, reaching out for and research. I'm trying to get speaking events to go speak at churches and youth groups and, you know, just travel around and tell my testimony. You know, I got a powerful testimony. I like to spread the word and, you know, get into mentoring and start my own little programs and stuff like that. So, you know, I pray that God, you know, leads me to that. And, you know, God ain't a God of time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, when you work with God, you got to have patience. And that's when fishing comes into play.
Yeah, it
When
does.
you're out here fishing, you got to have patience. We've been out here for an hour and caught 2 babies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just like God. God don't see, there is no time with him. You know, to pray for good fish on.
There you go.
Thank you, God. And
You got
that's good catfish bait.
tree shaker.
Yeah. And so, getting ghost that one. Yeah, I'm fishing about 2 foot deep.
Yeah, I slid mine back down. I feel like I'm on the bottom.
Hey, I have, oh man. I was watching yours and looked around and was like, shoot. Let's see if I can get this untangled now. Is that your hook or mine? Okay, this is yours right here.
Yeah. We both got beat